Record to the cloud. It's crazy. This is our last call. Is that insane?
Yeah.
So fast.
Oh, no, I have a fake person there. I have an extra person and that I don't know how to get rid of.
You're fine. We can just hang out. I can try to kick them out if you want. I don't know if
No. Yeah, it's me. It's from, because when I went to go back in, it made me sign back in, but it kept me in too.
I removed
Oh, wait,
them.
no. Yay.
I mean, I removed you. I know Zoom actually has a lot of functionality. I just sometimes don't know how to use all the things. Sometimes I do. Crazy. Well, once everyone gets here, we'll start official gratitudes, etc. But I just want to hear an update from each of you on how you're doing. Hey, Simone.
Hi.
Your hair. Did you cut your hair?
I dyed it. Yeah.
Oh, so pretty. I love it.
Thank you.
That's so fun. It looked like you cut it too.
Well, it's got its own ponytail.
Yeah, that's amazing.
How is everyone?
That is exactly what I was asking.
I'm doing good. I don't want to say I was lazy last week, but like I did stuff. I just don't have anything significant to show for what I did.
It's fine.
But I've been keeping up with contacting people, and I did that. I posted a thing in the group about even though I know my business page isn't like being seen by tons of people, I still invited people to it, and I freaked out. But then that girl that I had mentioned, I interacted with her on someone else's post. She's one of the people I invited to like the page, and she actually commented on one of my recipes and said something that she wanted to try it or whatever. So I think it's still going to be kind of good to interact with certain people or being able to tag them and stuff without it being all over my personal page all the time. So it's not as cool as a group, but it's something going there.
I think it's awesome. I think two people will often click on it, right? Like if they click on your profile and then they click on it's linked to your profile, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's great. I think I often do that when I want to check someone out online.
I do too.
Yeah. Click on their biz page.
Yeah. So at least it's there.
Totally. Beautiful. Well, I'm sure Tracy will pop in momentarily, but I don't know. I haven't really checked into it's been a busy call day for me. Did she post something?
I think she posted she's running a little bit late.
Okay. No problem. So let's get started and start off with gratitudes. Simone, do you want to go first?
I am thankful this week for my family. I think I've been having a difficult week in my business, so yeah, I'm having a hard time. But I'm grateful for my family and grateful for my fiance.
It's beautiful. Who do you want to tag?
Samarni.
I'm grateful for just having really supportive friends, I think, that I can just have chats with when I need it, yeah. Carrie.
I don't know why my mind's drawing a blank. Usually this is like the easiest thing in the world for me to think of things.
You're fine. We are not in a rush.
I think I want to say I'm grateful for, even though before when I kind of said I didn't get a lot accomplished last week, in regards to my business and I've had issues with my shoulder. I think I'm grateful that I've been aware enough to know when to scale back on things and to not push myself when I'm not in a place where I should be pushing myself, because I've had to scale back physically and stuff too. And it's actually, I've noticed some benefit to it already. So I'm grateful for that.
Like the longevity of your health and business in general?
Yes.
It's huge, Carrie. And I think so important and not always talked about, right? I would love for each of you, well, I have a little exercise I would love each of you in that light, but did I cut you off, Carrie?
Nope, not at all.
I just want to applaud you for realizing that, because I think it's so important, right? So I want everyone, do you guys have a piece of paper in front of you? Computer tab. Write down your current age. You don't have to tell us. Did you guys write it yet?
Yes.
And then write the age that you'd like to do some version of your work until. So for me, I like to imagine myself being 80 and still doing some version of the work, right? Who knows what it'll be, right? If it'll be the same business, if it'll be online, if Facebook will even exist, if we're using some sort of virtual, who knows? But for me, I feel like I'm going to be doing some version of my work till I'm 80. Maybe it's different for you. Write down your number. Then I want you to do some math. Subtract the the small number from the big number.
That's a long time.
Share and put in the chat box for me how many years you have left of your work. "49 years. Yep. "70. I love it. It's amazing. "45. So good, right? So these are big numbers, right? These are a lot of years. And so I think, to Carrie's point, remembering that like what we're doing is not a sprint, right? Yes, there are times to like focus and that's why I like doing this program in 6 weeks, because I think there's something about like focusing on something for a short duration, but also remembering that you guys were in it for the long haul, and this is important work that we're doing. And so I love what Carrie said about, at first I was beating myself up for not doing a lot, though I imagine if we actually looked at what Carrie did, she actually probably did a lot of stuff that she's not giving herself credit for. But what she did is she reframed it as, you know what, actually that was intentional because I wasn't in a place like the week before I did a Toastmasters speech that like my 10-year ago self would have never thought I would do. I took a huge leap. And so it was totally natural for me to take some space and recover. So remembering like that's to be celebrated, right? So good. So if you ever feel the pull to, obviously make sure it's from a good place, not from scarcity, but if you ever feel the pull to take space off, to take a month off, to take a day off, it's allowed, right? It's allowed. Beautiful. So this week is another Visible Leap week. Yay! Basically, there's no particular content, but I would love to support each of you in figuring out a practical step that each of you can take towards connecting with more clients. So we'll have space for each of you to process. But I think sometimes learning is really good. But even for me, I have to make sure that I'm implementing and I'm making space, not just to listen to all the external voices, but to really like still myself and hear what's next for me. So that's what I want this week to be for you guys, is creating space to, oh yay, Tracy's here, to take action, not just feel like you have to learn something else, right? Because none of you are ultra newbies in this online space, right? Like none of you guys all know online marketing basics. And so for the most part, it's about, yes, maybe learning a little bit, maybe learning something in a particular area you need support around, but in general, from this point forward, I really encourage you, when it comes to investing your money, when it comes to investing your time, when it comes to investing your energy, making sure that you're doing it in things that are going to help you take action, in aligned action, right? That might mean different things. For me, it's meant hiring a house cleaner. For me, it's meant hiring a virtual assistant, right? For me, it's meant hiring a coach. And it might mean something different for you, but I just want to encourage you guys as we wrap up this program to just be mindful of consuming information, because you guys know enough, right? You guys know plenty. And so make sure what you're investing in is helping you get more of your work out into the world. That's my mini love-filled lecture. But let's go around, and if you already know what your visible leap is going to be, then let us know. And if you don't know, then we can kind of mastermind and support you around picking something that we can hold you accountable to doing this week. And remember too, the confidence, there's like a confidence toolkit that's in like on our members site. And that's helpful too if you're feeling overwhelmed or discouraged. That can kind of, it's kind of like mindset worksheets basically to kind of help you feel confident again. So that's there for you too. So who'd like to go first?
I would go first, but I don't know what mine's going to be.
Do you have any ideas?
I don't, because I feel like
You've been taking a lot of action, by the way.
yeah, so I don't, like, I reached out last week, I reached out to the gym owner, where I reached out through Facebook. It's the only way I know to get in touch with her unless I were to physically stop by the gym. But as I know from last time this happened, it takes her forever to get back to me. So I'm not taking it personal. I haven't heard back from her yet. But I did reach out to her again last week. And then Monday's kind of my day. Like on Friday, I kind of look at my client tracker sheet that I got from you, and I kind of write down who I want to reach out to on Monday. So I did that. And I've planned, I have a couple coffee chats this week, but that's not really challenging. I mean, I've never done them with people I've met online before, so it's different, but it's not really a challenge. Mm-hmm. The one thing I did want to do is, since I did that with my business page last week, I want to, because I know it's not like a group where I'm trying to constantly engage people, but I was going to have like maybe, I know each week I was going to do a blog post, and then once or twice a week I was going to write something else, just something to have like consistent, like, I don't know if it, like maybe one day do a tip or a recipe and another day just do an inspirational quote or something, just to get into the habit of being consistently posting stuff so people could potentially see it, even though if someone were to, I don't know how to exactly put an offer out in that space, knowing that a lot of people probably aren't going to see it. But maybe just to try and figure that out. And I also wanted to add more people, like invite more people to like my business page, but I don't know if that's really enough.
How do you feel about doing a Facebook Live?
I don't want to.
How do you, and it's okay if you're like, Anna, this is too, obviously we don't want to like break you, right? Stretch so far. But how do you feel about, I'm not saying you have to like sit for 30 minutes and like lecture the camera. How do you feel about like next time you're at the river, I don't even know if you live by a river, like showing a cool panorama of the river and being like, this is by my house, and like, or this is my favorite quote.
Okay, so not business related?
Well, hopefully it'll be related to your business. So like tying it back to healthy living, or if you're making a recipe, this is the recipe I'm making and why, like, these are my pantry essentials.
You know, I feel better about doing it and posting it on my, are you saying posting on my business page or my personal page? I feel better about doing it on my business page because I feel like it.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah, I think I could do it. It still makes me a little uncomfortable because I'm not thrilled about being in front of video, but.
Totally. And go ahead. Did I interrupt you?
No, I was just kind of ending.
You're like, I'm just And this is what I would love you to do, right? As long as you determine this isn't too far of a stretch, just try it, right? And if you decide, I mean, video isn't for everyone, though online, it is a way to help people connect with you quickly.
I know.
So just try it out. And again, low pressure, and brainstorm until you find something that sounds exciting, right? Whether it is sharing a recipe or whether it is like, what's something that feels approachable to you?
A recipe type thing. Well, I just think of like, if I'm in the kitchen preparing something like that would be way too long to be. And I think the thought of like the live, like not being able to take it back, like it's one thing to do a video and potentially post it. The thought of doing it live.
You can delete live video.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh.
So I would, just for the stretch, while you have our support, I would, let's say you're in the middle of making a meal. You don't have to Facebook Live the whole meal prep. You can if you want it.
45 minutes with Carrie making dinner.
But maybe in the middle, right? You pause. You're in the middle of cooking. The pot's boiling over here. The smoothie thing is, obviously I'm not a health coach, so I'm probably using the wrong words. But you pause and you say, hey, just wanted to let you know, like, this is what I'm cooking. It's one of my favorite quick meals. I do this, and this is why. Let me know. What's your guys' favorite meal to make on a weekday? And if it was awful, delete. But I don't think it's going to be awful. And I think people are going to be like, oh, this is so cool. I'm seeing inside Carrie's kitchen. I love my favorite from the people that I watch and follow. Honestly, my favorite videos to watch are not them like sitting in their office like this, but they're like somewhere like behind the scenes. I'm like, this is so cool. I'm like sitting in their kitchen.
You're right.
Okay, tell me your thoughts.
It's that feeling that like it makes me uncomfortable, but I think I could do it. Like that comfortable stretch, I think I could do. Like by the end of the week, like on Thursday or Friday, to give me. So I need some time to kind of mentally prepare.
Take as much time as you want, but also not so much time that you make yourself nervous, right? Like take the space, but then like don't make yourself miserable in the waiting, right?
Okay.
But you know yourself. Like there are some people that ripping the Band-Aid off is better, and other people, it feels much better to give the space, right?
I'm in the middle because if I wait too long, I do make myself crazy. But if I do it right away, yeah, maybe Wednesday. Okay.
And even though most of your leads right now are probably going to come from in person, this is a fun way to kind of play with how do I feel about the online visibility? And also some of your in-person leads may watch it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if this helps or not, but the nice thing about doing Facebook Lives when your audience isn't super big is not a lot of people watch them, right? Like probably no one's going to be on with you live.
That's very true.
And if they are, does that feel like it's a good fit, or do you feel like you want your visible leap to be something different?
Well, when I'll think about it, and if I could get something I feel comfortable with doing, because I don't know if the cooking meal thing would be something that I want to do, but but it might be. I don't know. I think I need to think, but I do like the idea of doing it because it is something that makes me uncomfortable. But so I think that's a good one.
Does it feel like it? Because what I hear you saying is it makes me uncomfortable, but it doesn't feel like it's moving my business forward. Does it not feel like the right direction?
I don't know. I just hate video. I mean, I like watching other people in video, and I totally see how it's beneficial because I totally connect more with people in video than just them writing something. And so I completely understand why it's important. It just makes me so I've always hated my picture being taken, or I've always been, which I've gotten better with these things, but it's something I eventually have to get through.
Does it feel more gentle to do a recorded video or to do a selfie?
Maybe.
You're allowed to baby step your way into it. Like you don't have to yes, stretch, but like don't kill yourself in the process, right?
Yeah. Maybe I could do a record. Maybe a record would make me feel a little more comfortable. I think right now I'm just more thinking of, I don't know what specifically I would want to do. But I think once I get that figured out in my head, then I'll feel better about it.
I think if you end up getting comfortable on video, then we could talk through content, like content strategy, like doing 3 tips for blah. But I just don't want you to have to worry about that. Right now, the goal is comfortability on video. Like, I don't think you have to worry about pitching on video. I don't think you have to worry about delivering content. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would give yourself permission to just worry about number 1, which is like getting comfortable on video.
Okay. I think I could do that. That sounds good.
And then once you're comfortable, then we can talk about all the other things. Simone did a great job this week. Popped up in my newsfeed, one of your things where you pitched, and it was delivered with like such ease. I'm like, shut up right now.
Thank you.
How are you feeling about those?
Pretty good, yeah. Well, I mean, my course went on sale and it hasn't sold yet. Nobody's bought it yet. So the pitching itself doesn't really scare me, but I just feel sad because I feel like I put all this effort in and then there's no return on it so far, you know.
So do you have anything else, Carrie? Okay.
Nope, I'm all set.
Beautiful. And feel free to write in the group if you decide not to do that. We can support you around something else. Get that that's a stretch. Simone, why don't you go next? And yes, tell us what's going on for you, how we can support you.
Yeah, I guess maybe just, I don't know, the first time you start selling something, you know, I've put all of this effort into the launch and it's been on sale for 3 days and nobody's bought it yet. And I'm just feeling really discouraged and kind of like questioning everything, which I know is silly, but it's still happening.
When does your cart close?
The 12th of this month, so in 3 days.
Mm-hmm. So first, so much grace, right? Launching a course, a group definitely is harder to fill than one-on-one spaces. And so I think just trying to normalize that for you, right?
Okay.
And at least I will say for my business, how I primarily, okay, maybe that's not true anymore. At least at the start of my business, the primary way that I filled groups and courses was by personal invite or people that had worked with me one-on-one in some capacity. So I'm just saying that to normalize, like, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your business. It just, in order to do leveraged offers, it just takes a little more, like your audience has to trust you a little more. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I mean, especially the course that I was taking that teaches you how to do this whole process, it kind of said, oh, if you have the numbers, you'll just sell courses. Which, you know, they say the 2% conversion rate, but that just hasn't been true.
Have you done any private outreach to people that you're connected with and invited them to the course?
The only people that I could think of would be the beta testers, and I did. And then one woman, I didn't do that one yet, but I could.
Is there, as you're thinking through the people that you're connected with online in general, do you feel like you could look at your current connections and send some email or PM invites this week?
Yeah, I could.
How do you feel about that?
It feels a little pushy, honestly. But I suppose the only way that you get any attention is by asking for any invites, by asking people. You know?
Are you able to see who do you have for your email provider? Because I'm assuming does the course that you took have you emailing people, or what is it having you do for the launch?
Yes, emails through ConvertKit is the company that I have.
So you're able to see who's opening your emails?
Yeah, is there a function for that on ConvertKit?
There should be, and you should be able to see who's clicking.
Okay. Yes.
So what I would do, have you gone in there and looked at all that?
No, I haven't.
So I would go in and I would look and see who's clicking on, because in your emails, do you have like, hey, click here for the course sales page?
Yes.
I would see who's been clicking on those. And if you recognize the names, those would be great people to follow up with. Some people's approach is they'll say like, hey, I saw you click blah, blah, blah. I think it's a little creepy. So I just do something like just checking in, right? Like almost like just keeping top of mind and letting them know I'm there, asking if they have any questions. Or if it's someone that I've connected with and I can honestly say I think they'd be a great fit for the group, then I'll directly say, hey, I think you'd be a great fit for this group. If I can say that and it's true, right?
Okay.
Are you looking it up right now?
No, I'm not, but I can.
No, you're fine. You don't have to do it immediately.
Okay.
So I think I mean, I don't know, and I don't want to interfere with what your course is leading you through right now either. But I think giving yourself permission in the next 3 days to do some personal outreach
Okay.
in a way that doesn't feel icky, right? Like, so doesn't mean you have to like email everyone like a long PM. You could literally say, especially to the people you're already connected with, right?
Yes.
Reaching out, touching base, letting them know, hey, you know, I don't know if you saw it in the group, but I'm heading up this course. Is that something you'd be interested in? Let me know and I'll send you the link. So not even like sending them the link without first like asking kind of permission, right?
Yes. Okay.
And also, I don't know if they warn you about this in your course or not, but launches are hard. Like launches are mentally are very hard. Have you experienced that?
Yes. Yeah.
It's normal. Like launch mindset is like, it can be kind of intense, and make sure that you give yourself grace and make sure that especially on the last day that you're showing up. I have a little I can share it in the group, but like a little arc of one of the courses I sold and like when people bought in the timeline, and a lot of people buy around deadlines, and so by the cart close you feel the most exhausted, but that's really when you need to be able to, like, people are busy and they have so much going on that a lot of times they'll respond to like, oh, cart closing, right?
Okay.
What time does your cart close?
It closes at midnight, but that can be changed.
No, I think it's fine, but just letting people know like, hey, cart closes tonight at midnight, you know, just letting people know.
Okay. All right.
How are you taking care of is this your first launch?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So first, just grace and love to you. And also know that in your business, you have permission to do business however you want. So maybe from here you decide, I want to do another launch, or what I like to do is I like to have a base income and then launch from there, because then I'm not feeling like, I have to have this monetized, or else it's really hard to detach when you're depending on your launch money, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So hard. Not that you're doing anything wrong, right? You're just feeling things out, but also know that there are other ways. Like if you're asking yourself, is this the only way? I'm not even going to do this anymore.
Yeah, that's kind of how I've been feeling. But the way that I've been trying to just take the pressure off of it is saying, okay, whatever happens with this course, I'm just going to put it on a sales funnel once I'm finished, and then start working on sort of smaller wins, you know, as far as just getting one-on-one clients and not putting so much pressure on one outcome for my business as far as income.
Yes. Yes. And I know hopefully I'm not being a Debbie Downer. I'm just trying to be honest with you so that you're not feeling like I'm a failure for my course not going perfectly, right?
Yeah. No, I'm already way down, so you're definitely not bringing me down.
Tell me what I'm saying is sticking with you, and what's coming up for you, or how can we support you today?
No, I think just being able to express it, is enough for me, because I've just been really worried about it and feeling a little bit. And I'm glad you're saying those things about how difficult it is, because I think I have been putting a little bit of pressure on myself. So yeah, I just want to be able to take the pressure off of this one big thing in my business, and just figure out other ways to get income that's on a more steady stream, instead of just one big launch and all this pressure.
Yes. You've got 70 years, right?
Yes.
But for real though, yes. Like giving yourself so much grace, and you do have 70 years to figure this out, right? And so just not being hard on yourself. Courses, and even though people who market courses will tell you otherwise. In my experience working with clients making a little money, making six figures in their business, courses are hard. Like, they can be good, but it's just a different type of work, right?
Yeah.
And when I say courses are hard, I mean, in order to make the same amount of money, making $20,000 in a course versus $20,000 in one-on-one clients, that's what I mean. It's not impossible though.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, I mean, a lot of it is just, I don't really know how to do anything because I'm just kind of learning it for the first time. So if someone sells me a course like, oh, you can make all this money making courses, I'm like, okay. But it's good to find these things out and to figure out like what works best for my business and what works best for the people that I end up working with, you know, for my clients.
And what you've created, have you created like any of the video or anything for the course yet?
Yeah, I have the first couple weeks finished. And the people who did the beta testing really loved it. But yeah. So I at least have that piece that I know it's not a terrible product.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, so.
I wouldn't be surprised if, as you issue some private invites, as you look and see who's clicking and you connect with those people, I wouldn't be surprised if you do make some sales. I'm just saying there's nothing wrong with you if you don't sell like 50 this first round, right?
Okay.
That'll definitely show up for the rest of your launch as you're mentally able. And especially just, do you already have an email scheduled for that last day?
Yes. Yeah.
So I think that's huge, showing up. Are you planning to go live on the last day?
Yeah, I've been doing lives most days, so. Yeah, I'll be doing lives. I think that's the way that I get the most interaction.
Yes.
With my people.
Does anyone else have any thoughts or words for Simone? Virtual hugs.
Yeah, I was going to just say, I think, sorry, I went to unmute myself. I clicked something else. After you friended me on Facebook and I was seeing you show up in those videos, I was very impressed. And to go through all this time to, like you said, that you're investing in everything. I mean, that's a big accomplishment. So I hope you're really proud of yourself, no matter how it turns out.
Thank you very much. Yes, I do need a little bit to be proud of myself because it's easy to be hard on myself. That's for sure.
And Simone, none of it's wasted, right? Like,
yeah.
Think about how visible you've been, like getting super comfy on video, recording, like you'll be, even the things in my business when I look back and weren't the most profitable, it all taught me something and all pushed me to where I'm at.
Yeah. That's so true. Yeah. Yes.
It's probably hard to see while you're in the muck though. Like maybe it's too soon to see.
I like getting more perspective on it though, but I do. Yeah. I feel a little bit sad, but I mean, I agree with what you're saying is that it's all a learning experience and, at the very least, it's teaching me what not to do. Right?
You're definitely not a failure and you can definitely still making money online work.
Thank you for saying that because sometimes I doubt it.
But deep down, right?
Deep down.
You're like, it's pretty deep there this week. Pretty deep. Good. And you can, I'm not saying that you can't make money online with courses. You can. It just takes intentional tribe building, right? That's good. Is there anything you'd like to us to hold you accountable for this week? Maybe even when it comes to something like taking care of yourself or writing down on an index card the things that you're proud of yourself from this week? What can we keep you accountable for?
Yeah, I think that's a good one. As far as the business stuff, I've got all of that, on a sort of a conveyor belt, but I like the self-care piece. So
Tell us specifically.
yeah, I like that idea you just said about index card, just writing out about what I'm proud, or perhaps, just getting some perspective. So maybe writing down what I learned from this launch experience, and then yeah, just taking care of myself more.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out in the group if you need anything, please.
Okay. Yes.
And reach out to your support resources. Like, this is the time or the season of your business where you get to reach out and get a little extra support and be a little extra needy in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not feeling guilty about it.
Okay, I will.
Do you have friends and a partner or people that you're able to talk through this stuff with?
Yeah, I do.
That's good. Okay, Tracy, Smarny, who'd like to go next?
Doesn't matter. I can go.
Great. We're just talking about if you have a visible leap or if you'd like support around figuring yours out.
Well, I think my visible leap this week will be getting my challenge giveaway, or my celebration of my inaugural group giveaway, my mini sessions. So I haven't had a chance to really think about that. But I think that's because we talked about that a little bit for May. So it's getting those all set up and launched this week so that it can get people started hopefully posting. When you do those, do you usually do a certain time frame? Do you say, give them a few days to post? Otherwise it can go it could go on and on, right? So
for someone to enter a giveaway?
Yeah, just to say, if I'm going to do a giveaway, I don't want it to be like a month from now, right? So give them in the next week, I'd like to give away 2 or 3 mini coaching sessions. So please respond by such and such a date, right? Do you give them a hard deadline to post by?
Yes. And okay. I often will keep it simple, and I'll just say comment below, and I'll just have them comment below that thread. That way it's all in the same thread.
Yep.
But I definitely will. I like doing, it's however much it's however length you want. I think anywhere between 3 days and a week feels good.
Okay. When we talked on Friday a little bit, you talked about naming this call. Can you give me an example? Like, anytime you do a mini session, you kind of create its own little name for that type of call versus just calling it a mini session, I guess.
You can call it a mini session. Yep.
Okay.
Mini coaching session for preemie moms. Some people call it a breakthrough session. Some people call it an assessment session. What have other people called it? I don't think there's a wrong or specific name.
I like the breakthrough session, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can even say a 30-minute breakthrough session to ... to help you. And that's where the outcomes come in, right? Like,
yeah. That's where I need to go back, and I need to get all of those comments I've gotten that I've just taken pictures of, the people that joined my group, get those down in like 2 columns of here's the challenges and here's what they're looking for. So I can kind of see what those common themes are. A lot of them are isolation and overwhelm, which isn't surprising, but if there might be something else that stands out.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's where showing them the value, right? So you could put out, here's kind of putting that out there so that you can do whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think for me, that's my big visible leap this week, is getting that at least posted. Yeah. Like even maybe tomorrow. And then just kind of go through, give them through the end of the week or the weekend and go from there.
Yes. Yep. I love it. I think that's great, connecting. And I think anytime you do a mini coaching session like that, especially if it's with your ideal client, right? Mm-hmm. You have a strong pre-survey, you're qualifying people. I think they're just such a gift to them, but also to your business, because there are people that I did free stuff with like when I started 2 years ago that have like come around a few months ago and like purchased something passive from me, right? Or like when you do business in a way that's heart-centered, it like your business only grows, right? Because you're having more and more connections, more and more leads. And it's just such a good way, I find, to have like ideal clients work with you, because then they're totally getting who you are. That's why live video is so good too, because they're getting exactly what it is that they're purchasing later, right?
Right. Yeah, I appreciated your comments to Simone, because I have that same fear. Like when I get ready to launch my group coaching program, it's, yeah, will anybody be interested? But I appreciate your comments about reaching out to those that you know that could benefit from it if it's something. So that was really helpful to get me thinking about, you know, there's a handful of people I can think of off the top of my head that would be really good for something like that. So I appreciated that little nudge to kind of think about that, and don't just, you know, put it out there and without reaching out.
Totally. And I think too, Tracy, like as you've been, like even that mom you talked to on the phone, like, you know, your client connection tracker.
She's definitely one of that's top of mind for me.
Yes. And then those invites are so heart-centered, because you're like, hey, so-and-so, you know how we talked on the phone about XYZ? Well, I think you'd be such a good fit for this new thing I'm creating. Can I send you more details? Yes, Tracy, I'd love more details. Great. Here it is. If you need more information, I'm happy to hop on a 15-minute call, right?
Yep, exactly.
So it doesn't have to be spammy. It can literally, in fact, like if it feels spammy, don't send it, right?
Right. Yep. Yeah. No, that was just really helpful, because I can think of some moms that I've talked to that I think would benefit, that just, you know, giving just a little bit more attention and having that conversation.
Yes. So good. And I think too, as you do these mini sessions, they're the perfect leads to either work with one-on-one or invite to a group, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
And I'm not saying either too, let me clarify, that there may be some people that sign up for your guys' groups and courses that you may have never met. That's definitely happened for me, and I definitely be open to manifesting that. But I think also being available to not feeling spammy about inviting and reaching out and connecting and building relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like being available for both. I think about it too, like before the online business world, like this was called networking, right? Like networking events and building relationships like Carrie's doing, right? We're just doing it. We're just networking online, right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So good. I love that for you, Tracy. That's a great leap. How about for you, Samarni? Tell us what's going on this week.
Sorry, I just had to unmute myself. I'm feeling really overwhelmed, I think. Sorry, I'm like...
Tears are allowed.
Sorry. I don't know why I'm crying. I didn't know what to tell you.
You're fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just feeling, I think I'm going back into like old patterns of just procrastination and not getting anything done. And then it's like easy for me to compare like to other people, and it's just as everyone else was talking, I was just like writing down like what I wanted to talk about, and I don't know, I think there's a lot that I haven't still done yet that I need to. And it's just feeling really hard. Sorry. I wasn't expecting to cry.
Tears are good. I think I cry a lot. I like people who cry a lot, because I think it means there's not much layers, right? We have a thin surface between like who we are on the outside and who we are on the inside. And I think that's beautiful. So
I think think last week I was kind of going off the challenge thing, and I was just feeling a bit overwhelmed with that. And I planned something out, but I didn't know if it's enough information, like to kind of spread out as well. Like I was getting in my head, I'm like, well, is it like, is it kind of bridging together? Is it enough? Yeah, is it enough information? Then all the other doubts were coming up as well. Like, do I know enough? And all that kind of, everything was coming up. So yeah, that's just still in the draft stages. And with my Facebook group, there's still no one in it. 'Cause I haven't really, I wanted to rename it because I changed it to a different name. I didn't like that name. And then I wanted to change the cover photo, and then I told myself, no, I'll focus on the challenge thing. So I think that was just a way to procrastinate. So I think I need to reprioritize, and I don't know if the challenge is too big of a step if I haven't got that first thing.
How does it feel to give yourself permission for the first month just to find equilibrium in your Facebook group? So just setting the intention that the first month of that group is just to welcome people in, for me as a leader to kind of get used to the feel of that space. How does that feel?
Yeah, that feels much better. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect, right? And then if you do feel like doing the challenge, I would just set a date. This is what Tracy is doing too, but set a date out, right? So if you do decide I want to do a challenge, set it for a month out and just pick the title, right? Like you don't have to map out all of the challenge things, right? But I don't think there's even pressure to do that. Like if everything is feeling overwhelming, does it feel overwhelming to open a community space?
It's just, I think it does feel a bit overwhelming, but it's kind of like, I know it's like the next step, if that makes sense. Like, I think the challenge thing was like, just one step even more beyond that. And I was like, oh, I can't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does opening a community space feel, so it sounds like what you're saying is it feels like the next step. Does it feel like the next step for right now though?
I don't know. Like even with social media, like I'm still not showing up. Yeah.
So here's the thing. Like, how many years do you have left? You have 49 years left, Tracy. Before you got here, should we make Tracy do the exercise? Tracy, what the exercise we did is you write down on a piece of paper your current age, and then you write down the age you want to be doing your work until.
Okay.
Whether it's paid or unpaid, you know what I mean? Like you're committed to showing up and serving your community. Mm-hmm. Who knows if Facebook will exist, and then subtract it and then put in the chat box for us the amount of years you have left to do your work. I can't remember what I was going to say to you, Samarni. Probably something along the lines of like permission, right? Like there's no rush. So if it feels like too much of a stretch to open up a Facebook group, don't open up a Facebook group. But I will say that when I opened up my Facebook group, it shifted the way I showed up online in a good way. Like I felt I gave myself permission to not be everywhere out there. And I focused like 90% of my energy to my group. And if I was spending external energy, it was inviting people in, right? Come to my space. I was other places a little bit to learn, but I kind of shifted my energy to magnetizing instead of like being spread thin. So if that's what you're saying, if you're feeling spread thin and you're ready to like a lighthouse start attracting people in and holding, then I think do it. But if it feels like, no, Anna, that's not it, I just need a detox from social media, like that is allowed, right? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think definitely, I think starting a group will help me kind of step into that leader kind of, you know, because I think right now I'm, still not feeling like that. I think my thing is, I think because right now I'm wanting to, like not really posting on Facebook, but more Instagram. But even then, like because I'm finding that so overwhelming as well. It's not I don't know what it is. And then starting a Facebook group at the same time, like I'm like, how do I do both? Because I want to use the connections on Instagram to bring people into the group, but I still need to firstly keep showing up on Instagram. I think I'm putting, I don't think I'm just making it hard for myself, like to come up with stuff to write. Like I think I need to make it easier, and I don't know, a lot of pressure. I don't know. Yeah.
Yes. So deep breath and so much self-care, right? Do you have people that you're like walking this out with that get where you're at?
Like what do you mean? Sorry.
Just like biz friends.
Yeah, I have a few, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they know how you're doing and stuff.
I haven't really been this vulnerable with them. Yeah.
Is there one, so as you think about all your business friends, is there one of those people that pops to mind that might be trustworthy of sharing some of this with?
Oh, yeah. Do
you want to commit to sharing some of this with them this week?
Yeah.
I think that's good. I always have to push myself to do that. But once I do, I always feel so glad because my friends are so supportive. But in order to receive, like we have to first say like, hey, like I'm a mess over here. Like I need some help, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So back to the group thing. It sounds like what you're saying is it feels like too much to show up both on Instagram and to open your Facebook group.
Yeah. Like I want to definitely focus on the Facebook group, but I know that I need to bring people into that. Like I can't just open a Facebook group and then just expect people to magically show up. I don't know.
Yes. So I think first thing is picking, right? Because if you know intuitively it's too much to create for Facebook and for Instagram, I would pick one. And if it feels aligned, repurpose one to the other, right? If not, then just show up in one place, right? In order to sign clients, you don't need 1,000 people to sign a client, right? You really need a few genuine connections to sign clients. And I'm not trying to make it sound simplistic. I know that it's hard. But I'm just saying permission to not be all the places, right?
Yeah.
So once you decide, let's say like hypothetically you decide, oh, first of all, do you know, or do you want time to think about whether it's your Facebook group or Instagram?
I definitely want to focus on the group. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then if you know for sure want to focus on the Facebook group, I would write for your Facebook group and then I would repurpose to Instagram when you have the margin, right? So let's say you write a Facebook group post and you're like, dang, that was good. Yeah. Take that text, get a photo from Unsplash. Do you guys use Unsplash? It's like the best free stock photo site in the whole world. It's all free and they're just like stunning images, unsplash.com. I'll put it right here. It's amazing. Like this site is going to blow your mind, you guys. And put an Unsplash photo on Instagram and put the text. Like literally give yourself permission, especially at the start of your business, to have a foundational content piece and repurpose from there. When it comes to growing your group, there's so many strategies and tactics you can use, but I don't want you to be overwhelmed with that right now. What I would love you to do is just set an intention around your first burst of members. So maybe you say, you know what, feels really good to welcome in my first 15 members. My first 15 humans, like real people that are going to be in this community with me. Okay, what feels like a good way to bring them in? Well, probably want to PM and invite the people that I'm already connected with. And then as they're coming in, I want to invite them to introduce themselves. Once you get to like 15, 20, then think about like a growth tactic or something. I actually have from a course that I taught like 30 ways to like grow, convert, and engage your Facebook group. I'm happy to share it with you, but I don't even want you to read it or look at it until you just have, you know what I'm saying? Like step one, get those first 15 people in, and then you can decide what feels like a great way to grow my group, and then pick a growth tactic that most aligns with you.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better. Yeah.
Beautiful. So does it feel good for this week to invite people and have your first 15 people in your group?
Yeah.
Or is it feeling like too much?
No, that feels good. Yeah. I think I want to be further than I am, but I know how I am, and I know that I get overwhelmed easily. So
yes.
Yeah.
Also, you're like leading the way for your people, right? I remember in a previous call, you were saying you like working with highly sensitive people, right? Was that you or was it someone else? Am I misquoting someone? No. Okay. If I ever do that, you guys, mixed people, I'm sorry. But you're charting the way and you're leading by your non-verbally, and it might be nice to eventually talk to your audience about this, but like you're modeling what it looks like to honor yourself, right? Honor your energy level, honor the fact that you're highly sensitive.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful. Like you're pioneering that for them, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
Yes. What do you need to give yourself permission to release? Okay, this is for all of you. I want you to type in the chat box, outside of the visible leap we talked about, the action, what do you need to give yourself permission to release, right? Because I know y'all and your to-do lists are like 17 miles long. What do you need to give yourself permission to say, you know what, maybe eventually, or maybe if somehow I get an extra hour in my day, but I'm not going to hold it against myself if I don't get to XYZ this week. I have to do this to myself all the time because I think we're high achievers and that's good, but that also can burn us out and hold us back, right? And so what is on your to-do list or is on your maybe list that you need to give yourself permission to just, because like Samarni was saying, if I don't, I mean, she didn't say, sorry, like we were working on, she's like, I didn't say that. If she doesn't give herself permission to get those first 15 members in, she's never going to have a group of 300, right? So working on getting 300 people in is actually going to slow her down instead of just focusing on what's my strategy to get 15 people in, right? Same thing when you're signing your first client, right? When you're worrying about how am I going to do this or that, like all you have to worry about is connecting with that person, right? So tell me in the chat box what is coming up for you around what you'd like to release. Give myself permission to not be present in other people's Facebook groups. I love that one. So good. Especially when you're launching, especially, you guys, the more you'll notice, like the more you grow your business, the more it's important that you're in your space. And not that you demand other people come to you, but you're just like, as a leader, we can only be so many places at once, right? So good. Okay, so I'm, by the way, I know this is our last call. Crazy. And it's 4:00. So if any of you need to leave on the dot, you definitely can. But I'm going to have a few closing thoughts. I'm going to keep the group open all of next week, and I'm going to be available to you in the group. So feel free. Oh, not just this next week, but the week after is what I mean. So you guys basically have 2 more weeks of the group being open, and I am 100% available to you like I have been. So feel free to do that. Just so that what I'm going to do next week is I'm going to, instead of doing like a session like this, I'm going to go live and have some more closing thoughts. And but know that I'm here to support you in your transition, whatever that looks like. Permission to not be in-person network as much as I work on content. Yes, Carrie, I love that. Especially as you're like being being brave online a little bit, right? Being brave in your space. So good. Yes, always permission to not do all the things, right? Not be on all the platforms. Just permission. I feel like in my coaching, you guys, that's what I do, especially when I work with women that are like further along in their business. You'd think that like once you're making X amount of dollars, right, you'd have the margin to do all the things and be all the places. Still not true, right? So mastering that discipline now is so important, that you're always going to pass up opportunities, right? You're always going to say no. You're always going to have to like let things pass. So yes, if you need support around your visible lead, permission not to focus on being active on Instagram right now. Yes, 100%, especially as you're building your beautiful Facebook group. I think too, like as we're focusing our energy on one thing, it allows it to be more impactful, right? And then we can be on to the next thing faster because it's like worked faster, right? Beautiful. So good. I'm so grateful for you ladies. I love how you are, like all 4 of you are ideal clients for me in that you guys are heart-centered, showing up, and I really believe in each of your inevitable success, right? So continue to show up, continue to reach out. Obviously, we have 2 more weeks together, so it's not like I'm shutting things down. But I would love for each of you to go around permission to write for my group and repurpose to Insta. Yes, totally. You probably didn't think of it before because it's not always intuitive. I feel like some things about marketing aren't always intuitive. And so some marketing things have to be kind of learned through experience, right? So let's go around briefly and just share just kind of like any takeaways you have just from the group in general or just in this space, in this container. I just want to give each of you permission. Is there any of you that has to leave right away that need to go first? Okay, beautiful. Samarni, do you want to kick us off and just let us know any thoughts you have as we wrap up these last 2 weeks?
I think, biggest takeaway would just be just focusing on that next step. And even what you said with the one-on-one, the first client, like not focusing on how you're going to get like 5 or even, just the 1, like bringing it back to that. That's, just the focus on the next step.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I love that. So important. Who do you want to tag?
Tracy.
Okay. Very much along the lines as I was just looking back through my notes, and I just always want to run, and you've been very good, Anna, about bringing me back and saying, just kind of let's do this step, and then we can add that layer, but just really kind of having that picture without it being too big, just, kind of bringing in the incremental steps, knowing what the end goal was in mind. But if we hadn't done that, I would have probably not, I feel like in a really good place right now. And I feel like I probably wouldn't have gotten there without your help, because I would have just had the end in mind and missed some incremental steps or key things along the way. So thank you.
No problem. Thank you, Tracy.
Carrie?
Mine would probably be along the same lines of what the ladies already said, where I would think I had to do so. I mean, I didn't think I was even doing too much, but you kind of pointed out a lot of times that I was doing too much, and that, like, just to break it down, like Tracy was saying, breaking things down, or Samarni with not having to do all the things, like even sometimes when I didn't think I was doing too much, just to still scale it back a little bit more and to give myself permission that was okay. Because it's really hard when you see all these other people and it looks like they're doing so much stuff. And it's like, we all have the same amount of time. How do they get it all done? But they also, I mean, I know I'm looking at people that are way more ahead of me in business, so it's not really a good comparison. But that would be my biggest takeaway. Simone.
Oh, yeah, I'm feeling the same thing. It's just about, and then the other big thing is just about trusting that this can actually happen for me. So I have to say thank you, because I'm glad you said that, Anna, because I kind of was doubting that a lot before I came to this call. So that trust that you have in me, thank you, because I needed it.
Yes. And I don't know if this is, I'm like, I know, always hesitate knowing how honest to be with newbies, but I'm like, honesty always. Like this phase that you're in, where you're working to build momentum, is the hardest phase of business, period. Like if you make it through this, which all 4 of you will, it gets easier. And not that I don't still have challenges in my business, because I do, and I still cry, and I still, right? But I think you guys are living on right now, not a lot of physical evidence of your work. You're living on faith, right?
Yeah.
You know your work is important. You know that there are humans, like you see them, you've talked to them, you've met them, but you're still like, there's like, you're living in this faith period before there's the reality of the financial momentum. And to me, that's the hardest, right? Because you're questioning, is it just time? Do I need to give it more time? Do I need to change my strategy? Am I on the right platform? Like all the thing. And I think too, like when you're on online business for a while, you just kind of, you expect the roller coaster. So it's not so shocking, right? Or like I've had several launches so that I know I can expect to like cry, right? But I hope this gives you hope in that like it gets easier. Like you're in the hardest part right now. So when you're like, is this all there is? Like, no, right?
Good.
I don't know if that's good news or bad news, but it's just the honest truth.
Totally. Yeah.
So good. Okay, I'm going to let you guys go, but ask any questions in the group. I'm happy to hop on and do some live trainings or whatever you guys need. But just so grateful for you guys and for your dedication to serving the people that you serve. Like the work that you do is important and it's your lifelong work, right? You're in it for the long haul. And so really remember that. So good. Adore you. Okay. Have a good, I was going to say Monday, but for some of you, it's Tuesday. Have a good start to the week. Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.